Hey, hi peeps. Thanks so much for joining me today. Linda, Jean, awesome. Happy day after Halloween. I do have, Barry playing in the background when October goes. That is one of my very favorite songs, especially, like November 1st. It's like perfect. Hey, William. Good morning, Linda. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm just waiting for Tricia Christo to join us. She's going to be my guest today, and I'm really excited about it. Tricia, I've known Tricia for a long time. Hey, Tricia, there she is. I have known her for a long time. I came to know of her existence back in the days when I was a member at Church of Today, now Renaissance Unity. Hi, Tricia. Hi, William. Um, and they would do a fundraiser in October called October Blessed. And at this fundraiser, they had a silent auction, and I won a reading with Tricia Christo. Now, I've seen, tarot card readers before that, and I've known some very talented and skilled psychics in my day. Tricia blew my mind. I didn't know what to expect when I went to her. Awesome. And when I walked into her place, the question that I asked her, it was, is my father dead or alive? And I'm sure that's a very strange question to have gotten from anyone, I imagine. But she, put on her psychic hat, so to speak. And as she tuned in, I noticed something about her that I had never seen before in any of the other psychics and readers that I had gone to. And that was that her eyes changed a little bit. Hi, Frank. So glad you could join us today. Thank you very much. Her eyes changed, and it's hard to describe. It's almost like they get this oily sheen on it. And she asked me, how would you feel if he was dead, or how would you feel if he was alive? And, let me give you a little bit of context. This was 5 years after I walked away from my father over the abuse that he had perpetrated on myself and my siblings when I was a child. And I had not seen, spoken to, I totally ignored him for 5 years. But his nursing home closed, and I had no idea where he was or if he was even still alive. So I asked Tricia this question, and she tuned in, and she came back with a couple of things that really kind of shocked me. One was that she said that she could hear him, but he didn't sound like she was used to hearing people. And then she asked me, hey, Patricia, hi, so glad you could join us. Then she asked me, who's Betty? And that was really what kind of blew my mind, because I have an older sister named Betty that is 30 years older than me, that I had not seen or even thought of at that point in time in my life since I'd been about 6 years old. So for her to pull that name out of thin air just blew my mind. And in the process of the reading, she told me to go over to Canada, and there would be someone to help me find my dad. So the next day, I go over to Canada. I visit a friend of mine who is home during the workday. She has a visiting nurse come in and do housekeeping for her and stuff. And I ask her if I can borrow her phone book. So I borrowed her phone book, and I start calling all of the nursing homes in Windsor, Canada, where my dad lived. And after about the third phone call, this visiting nurse comes out of my friend's bedroom where she had been cleaning. And she said to her, or to me, she's like, I'm sorry for eavesdropping. I didn't mean to overhear a conversation, but I think I can help. And she pointed to something about 2/3 down the page. And she said, that is the organization that facilitated the restructuring of the nursing homes. If anybody knows where your father is, they will. So right there, that validated everything that Tricia had said to me. I went over to Canada. There was somebody that could help me find where my dad was. I called that number, and within 30 minutes, I was at his bedside. And he passed away a few weeks later. But the point of all of that story right now is just to let you know my own personal experience with Tricia and the accuracy with which she does what she does. So I'm so pleased to actually invite you to join me on screen. If I can make this happen, Tricia. Let's see here. And don't know if I can. Oh my goodness. Does anyone know how to invite someone to be in here with us? Oh, geez, let's see here. Ooh, that might not be good. Oh, how do I do this? Does anyone know how I invite her to join me now? This is so embarrassing. I know it's possible to do these things on screen. Well, let's see. Can I invite through this way? No. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see what we can do. I am on my laptop, Frank. I'm on my laptop. I wonder if this would be easier from my phone. Let's see. Any ideas? Let's see here. Okay, so apparently I have to be on my phone to do this. And let's see. And in landscape mode, okay. Ha ha ha. We'll get this, trust me, we will get this. Maybe. Okay. Well, you know what? Okay. So we're going to do this a different way. I am going to call Tricia, and she's going to ask me the questions on the phone. So let's do that. All right.
Hello?
Hey, Tricia, is that you?
Hey, I don't see you. I just have you on my phone.
That works. That works. From
Okay.
what my tech guru just said, I should have done this from my phone. You should be on your phone for me to be able to invite. I didn't realize that. I thought I could do it from my laptop. But this will work for today, no problem.
Okay.
Tricia, let me give you a little bit of an introduction. I just want to say that I have known your work for years, and I've watched you grow and do the things that you do for people, and some of the stories that you have to tell from some of your readings are just absolutely incredible. So thank you for joining me today. And
thank you for having me.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Now let me get these questions out that we wrote down for you. Awesome. And happy All Saints Day to you. I wanted to ask you first, before we get to the other questions, I wanted to ask you specifically because today is All Saints Day. Yesterday was Halloween. You know, do you notice differences? You know, like when the veil is thin and so on. I know in the past you've gotten house guests at some points in time. Did you see anybody new this year?
twice a year. That can be a daily occurrence. But I would say, I mean, as a veil is thinner, there's more of that type of activity. Sometimes I shut myself down to it because I want to live my life just like anybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to always be feeling it unless I have to do the work that I'm doing, unless I have clients scheduled or I'm doing a party, phone readings, etc. Then I tap into it. But I try not to pay attention to it sometimes. Now, if it's a spirit that needs to go on their way, then I will send it to the other side. But as a rule, I try not to pay attention to some of it, because your life can be, let's see, I just want to be like everybody else when I'm living my day-to-day life, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can understand that.
You can get bombarded.
Yeah. My sister is a musician, and when I lived with her, when she came home from teaching school, she was a band teacher, the last thing she wanted was to listen to me playing music. So I think everybody's like that to a certain extent. You know, you've got your work, and you don't necessarily want it to be your whole life. You don't want to be able to do your good work, right?
Right, absolutely.
Awesome. So thank you, everybody who's joined us: Josette, Chantel, Michelle, and Noda, Carol, James, Jeffrey, and Patrick. Thank you very much for joining us today. We're talking with Tricia Christo, psychic medium, and I'm really, really happy to be highlighting her today. Now, Tricia, first, before I ask you this question, all of you watching, could you please put in the comment section hashtag yes if you could hear Tricia talking? I want to make sure that the sound levels are okay before we go into the more deeper questions. So put in there hashtag yes if you can hear Tricia okay over this phone call. All right, great. Now, the first question that I want to ask you, Tricia, is when were you first aware of your psychic abilities? Go ahead.
That would be about 23 years ago. I'm almost in my 24th year of doing readings, and I would just begin to know things about people. And at first it frightened me. What would happen is, out of the blue, I would see, feel, or hear something. And I started to think initially that I was losing my mind because everybody doesn't hear those things. So I would know things like the mailman would drop off the mail, and I would say, "Excuse me, do you have gout?" And he'd say, "Why?" And I said, "I don't know, I just was feeling it." "And are you diabetic as well?" And he would say, "Yes." And so bit by bit, I started to realize that I had this ability. And initially, Gail, you had mentioned Church of Today, now Renaissance Unity. Back then, you remember Charlotte Manning.
Oh, yeah, I remember Charlotte.
Well, I went into her office when this first began with me, and I was quite upset, and I took some pictures that I had taken that spirits had appeared in the pictures, and I told her I didn't know what I was going to do with this, and she says, "Tricia, you're psychic. You just have to admit that this is what's going on, and if you want it to be a part of your life, invite it in. If not, you have to tell it to go away." And so that was one of the best things I needed to hear from her, because that day I chose to embrace it, and it was the best decision I ever made, because I love doing the work that I do.
That's awesome. Gosh, Charlotte is amazing too. I haven't seen her in so long.
She is.
Awesome. So at any point, did you get scared when you started, I mean, above the initial that you just talked about, that, oh my gosh, is what's happening. But has there been experiences that have frightened you?
Yes, I would see things on my wall, and the things of the pictures that I would have, I wish that I could somehow, maybe I will find a way with you, Gail, how we could post the pictures, because you can make some things out of them. But at the time when I would see this stuff, it seriously freaked me out. Even though I had chose to embrace it, you're just not used to seeing things all the time.
Yeah.
And so now it's a regular occurrence when it happens, so it doesn't frighten me. But the day that I found the pictures, I had taken pictures at my daughter's birthday party. She was 8 years old at the time. And I saw on the door the pictures of people that there were probably about 16 little miniature people on the door. And I know it's odd, but if you saw the picture, you would be able to see it. And so I called my sister and I said, hey, come over here. Oh my God, you got to see this. I've got pictures of people on my door and I'm freaked out. She goes, no, you come over here. And I said, no. Pictures, you come here. And so she did, and was quite amazed at the pictures that she saw. But I don't even know what era these people were in.
Okay.
But you could tell when you look at them, they look like they were wearing like flying nun hats, you know,
Really?
the show Flying Nun.
Yeah.
So they had those hats and their arms were folded in front of them. And I will see if you and I can make that happen and show some pictures, because I've never published them. I've never shown them anywhere.
Oh yeah, I can give you quick how to do that after we get off the call. But I've seen some of those pictures. I remember those pictures.
Oh, I forgot I showed you.
Yeah, and they're amazing. You really should put them out there because wow, yeah. I remember you had some from faces that you could see in your electric plate turning on and off your light.
Yes, it was. I'm surprised you remember that, Gail. It was the buzzer plate to buzz people into my apartment.
Okay.
And you could see this man, and it looked like it was holding a child, but the pictures did not look comforting to me. So that's why I was frightened.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Awesome. Well, can you share an example of something that has happened during one of your readings?
Okay. One time I was doing readings at a place, and this woman came up to me and sat down for a reading, and she was really kind of difficult to connect with. And some people, when they're really private or really skeptical, sometimes they can put walls up and it can be a little difficult. So I was about to give her money back and say, you know, I'm just not getting anything with you. But instead I prayed and I said, God, help me to reach this woman. So what happened then is I said, oh, your mother's passed, right? She said, yes. And I said, you took her ashes and you dumped them from one urn into another? And she goes, oh my God, I believe you now. I'm a believer now. She said, yes, there was a crack in the urn that we initially bought. And so we had to dump the ashes into the other urn. And she goes, how do you know that? And I said, well, it's kind of hard to explain, but I saw you dumping the ashes from one urn into the other. I get flashes sometimes of things. And sometimes it's a little more stronger than others, or they imprint upon me their thoughts and their words or mannerisms they used to use, sayings like, let's see, like recently somebody I was reading and lost their husband, and I was talking to them about why are they singing to me, Jeremiah was a bullfrog? And the woman said, because he used to always sing that to me. I mean, it's an odd song to be singing to your wife, but he used to always sing it to her. So those things there's lots of them. And when I try to recall sometimes, you know, there's a lot of stories. I just, let me think of, this one lady, she had come to me for a reading and she was probably in her 80s. And I said to her, your sister passed, correct? And she said, well, yeah. And she was like really kind of had an attitude the moment that she came in the house. And I said, well, she made beautiful, beautiful bridal gowns. She goes, well, yeah, like I'm supposed to know all of this. And she said, yeah, she did. And I said, well, why is she telling me chapel? I don't understand. She said, well, I lived on Chapel Street.
Wow. So, like, how could you forget things you never knew?
Right. And So it's, sometimes people are funny with things. You can tell them things like that, is dead on because you're hearing it, and by the look on their face that they're also agreeing with you,
Right.
but they don't want to say it. They don't want to, or especially like in a group session, if I'm reading people in a gallery setting, they don't want to admit it in front of their in front of other people.
That would make sense.
So
yeah.
that sometimes I just did an event and somebody didn't want to own their stuff, and finally the man just said, okay, that was my mother, but we went for 5 minutes. At least it felt like 5 minutes. It was probably 2. But
for the guy getting lectured by his mother, it was probably eternity.
And it was kind of frustrating, but then I said something about somebody leaving the price tags on everything they bought when they gave it a gift. And I said, no, I know I'm hearing this. And finally he owned it and he said, yeah, that's my mom. And, so it's important if people go to gallery events for the psychic's sake, seriously, to own your stuff.
Yeah, that's got to be kind of disturbing up at the front going, I know this is right. Why isn't anybody acknowledging?
Right, because it's the uncomfortable thing, obviously, is I'm in front of a big group of people. So, don't make me look bad, So finally, when they say it, you can see the looks on the other people's face, like, seriously? Like, why didn't you just own it to begin with?
Right.
But that's all right. Sometimes it's, people don't like to be in front of a group, but I always say, well, maybe you should not go to a gallery event, or don't expect a reading,
Right. Wow. Okay. Speaking of appearances, you've got an appearance coming up November 14th, right?
I do.
Want to tell us a little about that?
That is at Four Corners Diner. A good friend of mine owns it out there, and they have awesome food and everything. And the price of the ticket does not include the meal, just so you know. And if you're going to attend this event, you need to be there by 4:30. So the event starts at 6 o'clock, from 6 to 8 p.m. It's at 32 Mile Road in Van Dyke in Romeo.
Okay.
And you can buy tickets online at triciachristo.com. Or you can, if you live in the Romeo area, you can go to the restaurant and pick up your tickets.
Okay, great. And we'll put the information for that appearance in the comments when we get this all posted up. Now, for those of you who are still with us, Tricia has agreed to answer a question. So if you have a question that you would like to ask Tricia, and keep in mind that she is someone who speaks with people who have already passed, generally. She's not necessarily, correct me if I'm wrong, but she's not necessarily a predict my future type of psychic. She is a medium. So if you, go ahead.
I'll correct you, you're wrong.
Okay, awesome, go for it, correct me.
I am a psychic medium, so I do past, future, and present, but I do past, future, and present, but I am a medium as well, so I do it all.
Oh, okay, great. All right, so pretty much any question that you've got, go ahead and put it in the comments, and we'll see if Tricia can answer that for you. And while we're waiting,
I do have something that I would like to ask your people that are listening.
Okay.
Earlier when I said I thought we were doing it at 12 o'clock and you said it was 1.
Mm-hmm.
When I went to go on at 12 o'clock, and then again when I went to go on at 1, my vision became very blurry both times. And I do not, as a rule, have blurry vision.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I will pick up physically things from people when I'm about to do a reading, or I'm about to get in that space. So if anyone that is on right now has a problem with that, or had lost somebody that had vision issues, I would just like you to throw that out there and see what anybody would have to say about that.
Okay, great. So yes, any of you that are still on right now, do you know anyone that has vision issues that you might think this might be about, or someone that's passed recently that does have vision issues? I'm going to put out there that my mom passed away a few years ago, and she was legally blind and had no depth perception. So I don't know if it was about.
Just as you said that, Gail, my vision started to go again. Now, sometimes it can be a dual message.
Okay.
Where it would be connected to you and to one of your listeners.
Okay.
So that is highly possible if somebody chimes in and says that there was an issue with them or somebody, one of their loved ones as well. Was your mom sarcastic?
Oh, the queen. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, before you said the queen, I had a flash of the, how I was telling you there were people on my door, and there was one that was on my ceiling. And as soon as you said, just before you said, oh, the queen, I saw the lady that was on my ceiling, which looked like a queen. And I had a flash of that, so that did not surprise me at all that you used the verbiage the queen. So
nice.
She has more regrets than what you know, though.
And I know of a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Good woman, made bad choices.
Yeah, none of us are perfect.
No,
that's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, cool. Well, please go ahead and put your own questions in the comments. And we've got a couple more questions to ask Tricia as well. But I want to put out to you, anybody who's listening, whether it's during the live or during the replay, if you would like to be spotlighted on the G2 Spotlight on Fridays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 or 1 Eastern, and that's because the Sunday we turn clocks back and Arizona doesn't shift, so we'll be only 2 hours from East Coast. If you would like to have your Facebook company profiled on G2 Spotlight, please send me a direct message. It's no cost to you. I'm supporting my community in making sure that people that I know from my own experience are good, reliable, helpful people get a little bit more exposure. So if you'd like to be part of that, please, please, please give me a message and we'll get you set up for a future Friday. All right, Chantel Everly has a question.
Okay.
All right.
Hi,
Chantel. Chantel Everly asks, curious to know what career path or educational path could be beneficial for me and what country or city to reside in.
Okay. I get the medical or teaching fields because she's a nurturer. Chantel, is that true? That you tend to be a nurturer type person?
We should probably just assume so. It's going to take her a second to put a response in.
Okay, so that's what I'm getting, and I don't know why I was drawn to Washington, if that makes any sense.
Can you specify Washington State or D.C.?
Yeah, that would be a good question, right?
Yeah. Okay, and Chantel says yes.
I was thinking, hang on 1 second. Do you know where Charlotte is? Because Charlotte is in Washington, and I'm not sure which one she was in, but that's the feel I was getting.
East Coast, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. D.C.
That's what I'm thinking, on the East Coast.
Okay, great. And Chantel did say yes, she is a nurturer. Anything?
Okay, because she has that vibe. Sometimes she has to watch to not take things too personally from people.
Okay.
Because my gut that I get is that her feelings get hurt easily. And she's got to follow her dream, not what everybody else has for her.
Awesome. Anything else?
Hang on 1 second. What's hard, Gail, is that when I've done this before, I've had the person actually on the line, so I have the response right away. So
yeah.
Let me. Is she around? Are there children? Can you ask her if there's children?
Chantel, do you have children in your line of work or field of interest? Are there children around you? And Chantel says, thank you.
You're welcome. And there's also a mother figure around her that, and when I say mother, it can be grandmother or mother, but that had a beautiful smile and a wonderful laugh.
Okay.
Like when they would laugh, it was kind of like a hearty laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So Chantel, if that makes sense to you, do let me know.
Okay, Chantel says no children. And also, Chantel, let us know if that doesn't ring true for you, because just under Chantel's question is a question from Patricia Sass that says, my mom passed this past January. A few days ago, I felt her walking up behind me. Does she have a message for me?
Okay.
And Chantel's mother died 2.5 years ago.
Okay, so back to Chantel 1 second for a minute.
Uh-huh.
Chantel, your mom is very proud of you, and I want to explain something. When I read people, I sometimes get emotional. You can hear this on the you can obviously hear this. And what it is I'm not crying because they're sad, because your mom's not sad. She's very happy. But what I feel is the love, that immense love that comes through me. And your mom wants you to know that she is so proud of you and loves you so much. And there's something you're supposed to let go. She just said, let it go. Whatever this is, you just need to let it go. Now, with Patricia, I'm going to Patricia now. When you said you felt your mom walking behind you, Patricia, did your mom used to say, get to work? Just like if something needs to be done, just get to work, because that's what I heard her say. Not like you're not doing enough, but like that used to be something she would say. But it was not your imagination. You did feel her behind you. So I think the tendency when things like this happens is to second guess ourselves, and you shouldn't, because it's true, she was. And why do I feel I think that this is with Patricia, that her mom walks side to side like a, I don't know how to explain the walk, but like kind of moved up and down. I don't know if her hip was shorter on one end, on one side, or what, but it's like a rocking walk. Patricia, does that make sense to you?
She says something similar to that, yes.
Oh, wow, she answered quickly.
Yeah, I think she was typing while you were describing it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, because that's how she appears to me, that's how she used to walk, like a rocking movement. And she also, is she the one that used to have a cough? Because I get like either a clearing the throat thing or a coughing thing with her.
Patricia says yes, the walk. Waiting for a response on
either upper respiratory coughing, clearing the throat type of thing.
Yeah.
And let's see. And I'm getting a new car for Patricia. I believe it's with Patricia. So if she was planning on leasing a new car or getting a new car, I see a new car coming. If she was not planning on getting a new vehicle, then Patricia, drive a little more carefully, just in case it has to do, with that. Watch your surroundings, pay attention more.
Patricia says that yes, her mother, when she was sick with cancer, there was a cough.
Okay, so she actually comes around you often, and her eye used to drain as well. She's either talking about her eye or Patricia's. There's an eye draining type thing. So I don't know if she just constantly had dry eyes and watery eyes, but there's something with one of the eyes.
Interesting. All right. Do you have time for a third question? We have a general question from Gina Ellinger.
Okay.
Oh, wait a second. Before we move on from Patricia, Patricia says that her dad totaled her car a couple months after her passing. I'm assuming her meaning the mother's car.
Okay, that would be the car thing then.
Okay.
Her dad totaled Patricia's car, you're saying?
I'm assuming Patricia's mother's car.
Mother's car, okay. Okay, got it. That's probably the new car thing. And just in case it is not, just be mindful of what I said with the driving.
And Patricia says her right eye leaks. Patricia's eye, yeah.
Okay, I figured that was with her if it was not with her mother.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. Do you have a moment to do Gina's question? Awesome. Yeah. All right. Gina Ellinger asks, is it possible to just ask for a random message? I don't know where to begin with a question. I'm seeking universal guidance. Thanks so much for this lovely opportunity. Blessed be.
Okay, you're welcome. And what happened when you just asked this question is there's this plaque in my living room and it says follow your dream, and as soon as she asked that she didn't know what question, I feel like there's something that and I'm just drawing a blank on her first name. Gail, what is her first name again?
Gina.
Okay, Gina, there's something that you've been thinking of doing, but either are fearful about it or not sure if you should go ahead. And the vibration that I get is that you need to follow your path. And you are a go-getter. When you want something, you will go for it, and you have a feistiness to you as well. Gail, do you know Gina?
Just through Facebook. She's not a street friend.
A street friend. Oh, wow, good to know, Gail.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
I know, sometimes when you can't come up with a word, you just can't come up with a word.
Yep. And the older I get, the more that happens.
That's really funny. So, did Gina answer yet?
No, Gina, does that seem on track for you? In fact, Gina, Patricia, and also Chantel, if what Tricia said for you was accurate, please put #accurate in the comments section so we have that for you for it. Thanks for joining us, Katie. Gina has not responded yet to yours.
She's helped follow your dreams, Gail.
Right. Oh, there she is. Gina says absolutely true. Thanks again.
Okay, and also I'll be giving my phone number at the end of this for anybody that would like to connect, because I do phone readings as well. Is there another question that you wanted to ask?
Not from the general public, but I did want to ask you, what do you love about the work that you do?
Making a difference in people's lives, knowing that when somebody comes in my home and they get a reading, or I read them over the phone, that they leave and their life feels like it's different. They don't walk out the same. And I have people contact me later telling me, how much that I helped them. And I had somebody recently that was addicted to heroin, and she was going to treatment. And what was good about that is she had decided to go to treatment even before she saw me, but she left differently because she had hope.
Nice.
And one of the things that happens when I read people is not only do I do past, future, and present, but I'm very coach-like in the way that I work with people. Okay. Sometimes the work that I do is very therapeutic, as well as connecting with loved ones and bringing up past, future, present. So my life has never been the same, and I'm constantly learning from my clients as well. Because awesome. They touch my life.
Yeah, I can imagine. How many do you have? Oh, kidding. Right? Oh, there's a whole avenue of jokes there. How many people are in your apartment these days? Oh, okay. So I want to once more highlight, you've got an appearance coming up November 14th at the Four Corner Diner in Romeo, Michigan. Tickets are available. It's an early show, have to be there at 4:30, so we're going to put that contact information in the comments for you so that you have that when you want it. And I'm also going to put Tricia's phone number in the comments as well. So my last question, go ahead.
Want to let them know that that will be the landline, so you cannot text the number that I'm going to have Gail put on the website.
Right.
I mean, in the comments. And as far as tickets to purchase for that event, they can go to my website at triciachristo.com.
Excellent, excellent. So my last question for you is, what services do you offer, and how do people get a hold of you? What's the best way?
I offer individual readings, half-hour or hour readings, and they can do them on the phone or in my home, and I live in Centerline, Michigan, and they would contact me at 586-757-3699, and this again is a landline, and you cannot text it.
Okay.
And that's basically it.
Awesome. And then also go to her website, check her out, triciachristo.com. Thank you so much, Tricia, for joining me today on this very first G2 Spotlight. I hope that it has been as fun for you as it is for me, and I hope that it brings you as much exposure and value as I hope for you, because I really think that good psychics, true psychics, skilled and talented psychics really need to be out there and helping people as best they can. And I'm doing what I can to make that happen. So thank you again for joining us today. It's been a blast for me. I hope it was for you as well.
Thank you so much, Gail. It has. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I look forward to meeting some of you in the future. Thanks again, Gail.
You're very welcome.
Talk to you soon.
All right. You take care.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Bye.
Bye.